Is the red robe too much? The red was a little too distracting on the camera for me. Hi girls, and welcome back to my channel. I am Zonia and welcome to this week's video. Today I wanted to share everything that you need to know when dealing with your period, hygienic priorities, symptoms that shouldn't be that bad, what certain symptoms or I guess feelings mean during your period, and just how to manage it overall. Even I'm currently in the last day of my period. I've been on my period all week and my period has not gotten in the way of anything for me this week. It definitely took some time for me to learn things and go through really bad periods and find things that worked, and obviously, like I always do, a lot of research to get to the point where I'm now with my period to where it does not really affect me nearly as much. It really doesn't affect me at all, especially considering to how in the past it would literally shut down my whole life for a week. And I feel like, especially with me knowing that I have a lot of younger girls that do watch me, I definitely feel like this is something really important for you to learn as you're younger, so you can really play with the resolutions that you're going to use for yourself as you grow, because your period will change as you grow up and it will kind of either become stronger or weaker based on your body, your anatomy, the way that you go about your life. So I just think that these are all really good things to know, really good things that I implement that have made a really major difference in how my periods go. So yeah, and I've definitely shared a bit but not too much on period care in my short form videos, but as always, if I do have anything that goes hand in hand with what I'm saying that I want to give a better visual on or a further description on in video form, I will play it on the screen as an overlay. For everything else short form from me, I am Zonia on every single platform, and I'm active on all of my accounts every day. And as I always say, never hesitate reaching out to ask any questions or for any advice. I have all of my like direct messaging open on all of my platforms, and I do respond to all comments, all messages, and I love interacting with you all and helping you. So never hesitate reaching out. If you want to ask something that's a little too personal, definitely message me. If you want to leave a comment, you can do that too. If you have things that you know and you want to share, even one thing that I've implemented personally during my period that has helped me so much, I learned from a girl on my comment sections in TikTok that she left a tip and I tried it. I'm of course going to share it in this video, but that tip alone has helped me so much. So definitely feel free to share your knowledge as well. This is definitely like an open community here, but as you've all heard me say a million times, I'm not one for long intros, so let's get right into this video. Now, what would a video of mine be without our trusty assistant, my iPad? I feel like I've never explained this before, but the reason why I always have my iPad in these videos, I kind of leave myself tips and points to the video so I don't leave anything out. Like I will literally, it's not gonna focus. Yeah, I will write out, like I'll write out everything so I don't forget anything. I do want to start first with hygienic priorities. Not only is this the main basis of what I want to talk about, but I feel like these tips specifically are very broad and they really apply to every single woman, no matter what her body may be like or how your body may react to your periods. I feel like these hygienic priorities are really good and important, especially during your period, when that is a time you need to pay really close attention to your body and really close attention to all of your hygienic habits. It's really important to maintain a fresh yet comfortable routine that balances really well with your body's natural chemistry, especially considering that your hormones fluctuate so much during this time. So for one, I have wearing cotton underwear, and I actually just bought a brand new pack of these from Target and I saved the package to show you all. I just realized my light hadn't been on this whole time. Sorry if the beginning of that video was a little bit dark, but I do want to show these before any of the tips that come along with these. So these are by the brand, I think you pronounce this Hanes. They are the breathable ribbed cotton tagless briefs. This is what the packaging looks like. I'll probably find a way to link it somehow in the description box, even though I bought it in store. So the first reason as to why I say to wear cotton underwear in general is because cotton underwear, especially ones that are thin and made to be breathable like those, are best at one, keeping you from dealing with any possible odor. In the past, I've used I don't know what the name of that material is. It's not silk, it's not cotton, it's like right between those two. And those are an example of an underwear. It's not going to really help that area breathe, so it will trap that heat there. When your flow is really heavy and the blood is really fresh, you will be able to smell that regardless of really anything. And if you're super like self-conscious about how you smell, you definitely want to switch to cotton underwear. When I started using cotton underwear instead of the other underwear that I was using during my period, it made the absolute biggest difference. There was practically zero period going on. Like it was impossible for me to even smell anything, and I'm really self-conscious, and like I really am attentive to smell, and I will like force like smell something to see if there's any odor that I'm not picking up on, and it's literally impossible to smell with that underwear on. And because those are thin and breathable, if you do wear like heavy thicker pads, those thick pads are already kind of eliminating a lot of breathing room for that area. If you have an underwear it's not breathable on top of that, it's just going to trap heat, and that's going to lead to bacteria. You can get infections from that. There's just so many negative things that can come from that, to where it's really just best to stick to a cotton underwear during your period. Tip number 2 kind of comes aligned with that, and that's to avoid tight leggings or nylons. And for these, it's almost the same exact reason why I said to not wear tight underwear. Those are going to leave you with a lot of moisture buildup, because one, there's active liquid there, I mean you're bleeding, and blood is not cold, blood is very warm, so the area is going to be moist, damp, and hot. That's not odor, bacteria, there's so much negative that can come out from that. And you can get irritated too if you're really sensitive down there and you leave like that like hot and kind of infectious fluid there just sitting. You can definitely get like a number of things from that. So it's also important to not be wearing super tight like leggings or pants, or just any material that's not very breathable. Tip number 3, stick to warm water and an unscented fragrance-free soap when cleansing. I've mentioned this before. During that time, you shouldn't be really using any vaginal soap at all, meaning like any of those boric acid washes or just vaginal soaps in general. There are chemicals in those soaps that are meant to, of course, like balance your pH, cleanse you, get rid of bacteria and all things like that, you know, neutralize that area. But during your cycle, there's already so much going on down there. You adding that is definitely going to, one, more than likely cause a little bit of an irritation, and two, it's unnecessary. Your body's already doing a very big job in like detoxing and cleansing you out. Which is why I also say I feel like periods, they suck, but I love having one because it's so good for you. It's like a free detox. Like every month you're just like cleansing out your whole system and flushing out a lot of toxins in that process. So I always say use an unscented, sensitive skin, fragrance-free soap down there during your period. Make sure you're thoroughly like cleansing it. Like when you shower, thoroughly rinse it till there's like no blood coming. Then clean it, rinse it again. I would say don't start using your vaginal washes until the day after your period ends, or even the last day. Like me, for example, when I'm already getting to that point where there's like no more blood coming out, it's practically like over, there's just a little bit of discharge coming, that's when I'll go in with the PhD foam wash that I use, and then I'll use it again the next day. And yeah, that's literally it. Tip number 4, avoid any scented or fragrance pads as well. For these, I would say the same thing regarding how the soaps have like extra chemicals in them. Fragrance pads are completely unnecessary, like entirely unnecessary, especially if you do what I mentioned, we're using breathable cotton underwear. There won't really be a need for fragrance pads at all. Fragrance anything is added chemicals, obviously, to create that synthetic scent, that synthetic fragrance that product is giving off. You're actively going through a detox down there. That area is already so sensitive and prone to irritation and inflammation on its own. During your period, it's even more sensitive because it's already going through a lot with constantly flushing something out, and half the time it's blood, the other half of the time it's just toxins and old blood, discharge. There is no need to add anything that's chemical at that time. You're definitely gonna experience some sort of irritation or inflammation or just bacteria. Like, it's unnecessary. Just get some cotton underwear. Number 5, routinely changing out your pads and tampons is vital. And I definitely understand how draining that can be on days where you just don't feel your best and your period's kind of taking you over to where you don't feel the energy to get up and change your pad all the time. Once I get to a few of the tips later on, that problem may flow away to where you'll have energy back again to be able to move around more efficiently. But something that's really important is constantly changing out your pads and tampons. Pads, for one, as I mentioned earlier, you're not only flushing out blood but also toxins, old blood discharge, whatever your system is releasing, getting rid of. So leaving that to sit there all day, like it's in contact with that area. I mean, they're in the same, it's a soaked, when pads get soaked, they kind of grow a little bit in size, and as you walk around you also push it up a little bit just out of natural friction of how the body is built. So all that bacteria is sitting on that pad, and if you're not changing it, you're just leaving it to sit there all day. That is so horrible for that area, and definitely can make you feel even more uncomfortable than you already would with the blood coming out. And I would say with tampons it's even worse, because when you have tampons on, you're kind of eliminating the ability for your body to push things out, like for it to really flush out. It's releasing the waste and it's kind of just sitting there. I understand that at times tampons are necessary for certain things, certain outfits, certain occasions, to where if you gotta use it, you gotta use it. But I would say if you can refrain from them as much as possible, or when you are using them, be really adamant about changing them often. That is super vital, because you're already kind of restricting the area from flushing itself out and releasing outside of your body. Now it's kind of just sitting inside of your body when it was trying to exit. I would also say that even if you are a tampons girl, I definitely wouldn't advise having a tampon in overnight. For one, the reason I just said, and two, you're not allowing that muscle time to relax and not be stretched with something inserted inside of it. That's also really bad for you. So overnight pads are great. In the description box I'll share like pads and things that I recommend, but I'll definitely say an overnight pad. Even if you have to wear a period diaper, if that's the only thing that will hold up for you as much as a pad, because I know some flows can be really heavy. I've experienced really heavy flows. I've had to use overnight pads, and even those, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, I have to change that because the flow is too heavy. But there are definitely better options than having that area with a tampon sitting in it for multiple hours at a time. And the last tip in this section, hydration is key to properly flushing out your system. Again, like I said, your body is pushing out a lot of fluid, a lot of waste, a lot of just toxins, and using water to help your body do that a bit more efficiently and kind of not letting your system pull too much water from you to where you're dehydrating yourself, since your body's using it all up to flush toxins out, is really important. It's also important to incorporate foods that are rich in probiotics. This will keep your internal system more balanced, especially considering the fact that your hormones are fluctuating so much. You definitely want to add a variable in there that's going to help balance out those hormones a little bit. And this can be something as simple as like yogurt or kombucha. So definitely make sure that you're incorporating probiotics in your diet during this time especially. Now that was everything for the hygienic priorities section. Now I want to talk about symptoms that shouldn't be that bad, even though that time of the month can be super draining and really just inconvenient every time. That doesn't mean that all of your symptoms have to be horrible. Of course, some, really majority of the symptoms are a natural part of your cycle, but they should never get to the point where it feels like a complete shutdown to your day. Usually when these symptoms come in, or when they're super severe, it's a signal from your body that either something is wrong, or that it's lacking in something, it's low in something, or it just needs support in a certain area. Tip number 1, an extreme headache is almost always a sign of dehydration and low iron. During your period, you might get a minor headache, which is normal. It comes from the estrogen drop, but once it becomes like severe or a migraine, it's a sign from your body that you're dehydrated. During this process, as your body loses all of that fluid, it might need extra electrolytes to help your cells absorb more water. Since they're already pulling so much from your body, you definitely need to up your intake a little bit to kind of balance out how much those cells are pulling. Now, if your headaches are getting to the point where you feel really dizzy, that's a sign from your body that it's really low on iron. Fixing this can be as simple as consuming more vitamin C, like drinking lemon water, for example, might be a really good help to this, but also eating foods that are more rich in iron, which may be a reason why most women during their periods do crave more like red meat and steak. You just need more iron in your body from all of the blood loss. Next, super intense cramps may come from the diet that you had before your period started. Now, we all know cramps are like the biggest factor ever when it comes to your period. I mean, apart of course from the fact that you're losing blood. So these cramps are actually affected by the diet you had before your period started, like the week before that. And the way that your cramps do feel are a signal as to what is in excess or low in your body. For example, if your cramps are really intense and like really sharp, you're low on magnesium. Or if you had a lot of like super inflammatory foods, anything with high sugar, caffeine, fried foods, that's gonna make you produce more of what are called prostaglandins, which are gonna make your cramps, which are really just your uterus contracting, it's gonna make that much more intense. The best way to balance this is of course to minimize your intakes of those things, but during the week of your period, for example, instead of drinking coffee in the morning, go for like a tea, ginger tea, hibiscus tea, dandelion tea. Try not to consume too much sugar, which I know can be very hard because a lot of us crave sugar during our cycle, but keeping those things more at a balance and not in too much of an excessive use will definitely help with those cramps. And lastly, dealing with really harsh backaches. Now, backaches during your cycle are really common, but if it ever becomes like super sharp or like a throbbing sensation, that's definitely coming from pelvic congestion or inflammation. This symptom is more so your body signaling that the blood flow is still, like your pelvic area has become inflamed to the point where the blood flow is not really rushing and flowing anymore. It's kind of like backed up. So for this, gentle movement, going on walks, stretching, those things are going to help kind of release that inflammation and allow for that blood to start flowing better. And when that blood is flowing better and all the inflammation is gone and you're not backed up, your back pain will absolutely definitely decrease. And that's everything for that section. Now I want to talk about tips to make your cycle a bit easier. Now, these are just going to be quick general tips that I have in regards to making your cycle kind of flow a little bit easier, be a little bit easier on you, and not be such like a roadblock in your week. If you enjoy warmth during your cycle and you're not one for like a heating pad, or you don't have a heating pad, like I personally don't have a heating pad. I don't really like the idea of just putting a pad there for like concentrated heat. I don't know what it is. I'm not a big fan of that concept, so I don't own one at all. But I do tend to be cold all the time, and during my period especially, I like a good amount of heat on my entire body. So one thing that I do is when I'm gonna change my clothes or take a shower, I throw my clothes into the dryer and let it warm up a little bit so that I can put it on after, and it's like everything that I have on is warm and like that heat is kind of entrapped in me. Obviously you can do this at any time. What I would say is the best is when you're about to shower, just get your clothes together, put it in the dryer. Once you get out of the shower and you dry off, you can take that clothes right out of the dryer and put it on yourself. It will feel so great. Next, keep dedicated underwear for this time. I did show you earlier which underwear I use during my cycle. During that week, the only underwear that I will touch and use are the ones specifically dedicated to my cycle, which is why I choose underwear like that, cotton and breathable, and underwear that's a little bit big so it covers every possible area to, one, avoid staining something, ourselves, our other clothes, your bed sheets, your couch. It just helps you avoid staining things. And of course, it's much more breathable, much more hygienic, and in the case that you do bleed through your pad, you're not staining one of your good underwears. It's just one of your period underwear, so you can get another one. Next, keep snacks that are more dedicated to your body during this time. One thing you don't want to do is impulse snack. That's going to lead to bloating, and with that, or just the snack in general, more cramps. Your metabolism does speed up during your period, which is why you're more hungry and you eat bigger meals during that time and you have more like cravings. But the most important nutrients to cater to during that time to kind of maintain your cramps and satisfy that hunger and those cravings are magnesium and healthy fats. Chocolate and nuts are two of the best things for this specifically, so make sure that you have those during that time so that you're not too tempted to eat a snack that's going to lead to bloating or more cramps. And lastly, keep yourself hydrated with things that are going to help the fluid move more efficiently. Lots of the time, bloating from your cramps can be excess water weight. So while water is obviously very important, probably the most important thing to drink during this time, so are teas, dandelion tea, green tea, ginger tea, but I would say most importantly hibiscus tea. That was a tip that someone gave me. I started drinking it now every morning of my period, and it makes a difference in so many ways I can't even begin to express. Not only are the cramps practically not even there, I'm more hydrated all the time. My cycle isn't sucking the energy out of me to where I'm still active and able to move around, and my skin looks better. Like I'm not breaking out because of my period. So if you're gonna take anything from this video to implement, of course the cotton underwear, but also hibiscus tea. Definitely start drinking hibiscus tea in the morning or the evening if that works better for you during your period. Absolutely. And those are all the tips that I have for this video. Those are some very general and important hygienic priorities, tips to make your period easier, and symptoms that shouldn't be that bad during your cycle. Periods are definitely not something that we signed off on at birth. I don't remember that form being in the room with me when I was being born, but we have it, it's here, we have to deal with it. There's no way out. It's just a natural part of the woman's anatomy. So since we do have them, these are just tips that I find really important to share to help that time just be a little bit easier on you and not get in the way of other things that you have to do, whether it's work, school, or anything that you do in your personal day-to-day life. But again, that is everything for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you gained something from this video and if you want to see more content like this. And of course, the same goes if you haven't subscribed yet. Definitely make sure to go ahead and do so, and comment anything that you'd want to leave on this video. Remember that for all my other content, you can find me at JamilaZonia on all platforms. I am active daily and share content like this all the time, so definitely join the community. But again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.